We stopped working because we were put in front of a wall. We lost motivation. We didn't know what to continue on doing. The community, the laws were here. The general population, I have to say this, like when we start working, I knew only 5, 10 people that accepted that they are gay. And we're talking 2003, 2005. Right now I cannot count anymore. I really cannot count, and it's good. That's first thing. Second, back then, nobody even talked about this issue. Right now, I sit in a coffee shop, I hear some people talking in the next table, most of the time or so often bad, but still they're talking. So the issue is out there, and it will take some time.
They talk around issues as well, so let's not, I mean, there are two cases here, closet or open. As soon as you're a closet case, I mean, you're not threatened or anything. If you're open, then it's a big problem, you know. Well, it depends, again, individuals and others.
What kind of problems? Would it be within community or in the society? Or let's say, what would you name as problems in both?
In community as well, that's what I wanted to raise, because as soon as you're open gay, then nobody wants to actually, because they're afraid that somebody else will see you. So, if you're closet case, then you're fine. Nobody knows, you secretly meet, you secretly have your conversations or your talks or blah blah blah. If you're open, then you're on your own. So the approach, how to change that, even in the community or in the wide society, is information, information, information. Give out information. Find the communication channels.
And maybe the others have better ideas.
Yeah.
I told you I lost motivation. So.
But,
nobody has any idea.
Let's go back to that question, or how better can, let's say, we should not divide this and make it per se question of the community, that LGBTIQ community should fight for their own rights, to say so. I see it as something that should be a solidarity issue in a way, and in the end it's even about diversity and being the same. So it should not be a question if we are gay or heterosexual or wherever we stand toward other divisions that exist.
Yes. People have classes now, that's why.
Don't feel offended. Yes.
I was just getting distracted.
Let's see, and we can all participate answering this question. How, or to say so, what kind of attitude, fight, or move, according to you, Paul, is something that can help LGBTIQ community in Kosovo? So in Kosovo. Yeah, of course. Ismet, can we start with you?
Oh,
Sorry, please.
I'd just like to say that for me it's always been, this is not, and I see this in Kosovo, people still believe that the problems with the LGBT community are the problems with the LGBT community. It is not. The problem is not with the gay and lesbian community. The problem is with the rest of us. That's the problem. So I think that until people start understanding that actually I have an issue and I have to overcome this because it's really backward, then we're not going to make any progress, because you cannot expect a small minority in society to completely change everyone else. I mean, these issues are not just in Kosovo, they're happening everywhere else as well. Absolutely. It's just that there's a different degree of emancipation on both sides. You need emancipation from the general population, but you also need awareness, openness in the community itself.
I think that visibility is a good point, and it's a good starting point. I remember with Myrvete, we were Myrvete, sorry, a couple of years ago. It was 4 or 5 years ago, because you mentioned the back door, and we were in this debate on the public television. And then I was there as a sociologist with another colleague of mine, and we were talking. And during the show, while the show was running, there were a lot of people calling, and they were disturbed that we're actually having this topic, conversation on public television, and talking about homosexual LGBT rights. And then we, all of us, had
All
to,
pro.
all, yeah, all pro people had to, everybody who was advocating the rights of LGBT community in Kosovo had to leave through the back door. And I had people, although it was clear that I was not a member of community, I was just promoting the rights, even I had people stopping and saying, oh, I saw you on TV. You know, and it just, you know, it was awkward for them just talking about homosexuality.
That's why
And this is good that, you know, for the first time you see people talking and you see that, you know, they're normal for people, and there are people you know, and it could be your friends, your brother, your sister, your neighbor, and it just sort of, I think it's a starting point to change the idea of it, because as we saw in the movie, a lot of people think about homosexuality as a disease, as something not normal, as something that is polluting the society, as an infection, whatever. But seeing their faces and talking to people and seeing that you actually might know people who belong to this community, I think it's a good starting point. It makes it easier.
What I was saying was
I think
society in general has to go.
Yeah. I started this documentary. Some people, there were students and intellectual people. Some of them, they were telling me, "Oh, there are no homosexuals in here in Kosovo. I mean, how can it be? I mean, this is happening since 2000 because internationals brought this disease and stuff like that." So I heard the most strange things. I mean, this is really things that we have to share, because when we share, we just get rid of it. And yeah, I think we cannot change the society, but we can change ourselves. And if I change myself, you change yourself, everyone, I mean, the change will happen. And I started from myself. So now, yeah, you know, it takes time sometimes because you are not familiar with an issue, and then you realize that this issue is supposed to be an issue that your father's supposed to deal with it and not you. So, but if everyone changes itself, that means that we can put a step forward, and this problem in a few years will not be an issue.
But not, I'm sorry, I'm sounding radical a little bit, but not from this position. It's the others who have to come out of the closet to oppose this openly so that we can have a debate.
Yeah,
You know, anonymously everyone will criticize, but in public no one does it.
No.
I think people, this is how you create a debate, because
Yes,
otherwise, I see it with the students. I'm not worried about the older generation, because I think to a certain extent it's a lost cause. But when I see 18-year-olds, 19-year-olds, for the first 10 minutes saying everything is okay, but when we get deep into the discussion, it's so problematic. You cannot, the conservatism in the youth, it's such a problem that I think that needs to come out before we can change. So we are living in a closet a little bit, in the opposition.
A few comments. Please, Daniel.
I agree completely. She mentioned earlier that the gay community itself wasn't ready for a gay parade, and you're saying that the culture itself needs to be put into this. I think that it's not the gay community's responsibility by any means, but I think it's their turn to do something. I think they need to come out, they need to do something drastic to make it noticeable. Yeah, it might not go very well the first time, but if you want to expose people to it, you need to, because people here have not been exposed to it whatsoever.
So you're telling me, no, wait, because I need to respond to this. So you're telling me you haven't met any gay person yet?
I have, of course I've
You
met
have.
people.
Okay, that's first thing. And second, I am out. You see me, so you can see me. But if I tell to somebody else, go and talk to them, I'm sorry, I cannot ask them to risk their life. Okay, and as she mentioned, we were taken from the back door. But let me tell you, just this new year, I have received a threat in my phone saying that I'm gonna kill you and I'm gonna plenty of other things. So I still receive things. And yes, there is this other way. Let's put ourselves out there. Some of us will get killed, some of us beaten up, but we will make a huge deal out of this. Really? In 21st century, when you can do things, let's...
That's absolutely
Yes.
please.
No,
There was
I'm changing the topic a little bit, and I don't know if it's too late for this question, but you know, in the movie, you know, there was a man who was married, and you know, he is living this double life, and you know, he talked about writing a letter to his wife about what his his real self is. And I wanted to ask any of the Kosovo students who are still around, Kosovars, if you were that spouse, how would you feel?
No, I also wanted to comment because until now we have gotten comments only from people who have lived outside Kosovo and have been exposed to this kind of environment. Let's be careful on this. Yes.
Well, I don't know that.
That's why we know. This out. No, I know the students and people who have commented so far.
You're a bit too late.
Now we are talking about the community in Kosovo, and that's the most important thing. How the community in Kosovo accept this issue. I have no problem. I've worked with gay people from both sides for 10-15 years. And I can accept that because I was exposed to that for 15 years. Now the people in Kosovo, and I want to hear those comments also, because this is the biggest problem we have. Acceptance from the community here. Not from me who have lived in the United States and coming back and giving my wise thoughts here, but people who lived here for the entire life and not been exposed to that. And what you are doing to expose yourself to these people and how you're going to educate them to accept you more. This is the debate that should be taking place, I think in my
I would just add a small comment, because homosexuality is not something new, it's not something that happened 10 years ago.
It has been here.
It has been here. We have names for it.
Since the beginning.
And we have names for it. Society recognizes it. It knows about it, and we need to tackle why is it afraid of them? Why is it afraid of people being different, and why should that be your problem? And how does that somebody's sexual orientation becomes your problem, and why should it be your problem, and you should you
people need to be educated more on this
people
issue,
need to sort of talk about patriarchality and tradition more, but it's not that it's something that
the students.
Okay, I was born and raised in Kosovo. I met a lot of gay and lesbian people in here.
We're in Kosovo.
Yeah. And I have some of them quite good friends. In the beginning I was scared a bit because I didn't know much about that. But now it's like meeting ordinary people, like meeting other people. Do I support their cause? Yes. Do I understand what they're doing? Well, in some cases yes, other cases no. But that's a personal issue because we don't open our minds to this kind of issues. It's a simple thing. I have friends, close friends that are gay, close friends that are lesbian, and I don't care.
Now this is the position we have to come, that when we can start discussing it, I think.
Exactly. I hope that soon, with our joint action, we will have more answers of this kind within whole society. Chris, you wanted to make a comment a long time ago.
Oh, a long time ago, I was thinking how, to the point, Sven's observation was that it's very hard for small minorities to fight on their own and get recognition and support. And I think you're absolutely right, that we're reaching a point in Kosovo where there's more and more passive support for gay rights, but that doesn't necessarily mean active support from people who are not in the lesbian, gay, bisexual community themselves. I'm old enough to remember 30 years ago the struggles for gay rights in the US and the UK. I was living in Portland, Maine in the early 1980s, and the first gay rights parade there was only possible because the push for it was not from the community, but it was from an organization, the local chapter of an organization called PFLAG, the Parents and Friends of Lesbians and Gays. And it was people not in the community but supporters of them who held the first gay rights and made a big breakthrough there. And I sort of suspect Sven is right, that the real breakthrough here will be when other people stand up and say this is wrong and we support our friends who are gay and lesbian. I don't know how long it'll be.
Yes, but since we are living in Kosovo, we all know that the weapon possession here is quite high. And if you tell someone that we are organizing a gay parade, well, it's going to be
there are like big steps, forward.
Yeah.
But I also agree with the parenting, because we live in Kosovo and we know ourselves how we are and how we are raised, for our parents. So parents know nothing about this. they know, I mean, like a small number of families that they know about gay issues in Kosovo, but there are villages and, you know, other rural places when they have no idea whatsoever. And you being straight and going out and supporting other gay people, it will somehow destroy that relationship that you have with your family. So you're in a position like you want to do something, but you cannot do because, I mean, you're not living alone, you don't have your life, and you cannot think with your head, you're thinking with, to please other people, you know? So, I mean, it's like a big...
But it's much easier to put yourself out there if, you know, you're not afraid that, you know, somebody else gonna call you on the phone and you're gonna get harassed or you're gonna get discriminated in your work for being gay. It's much easier to talk about it from sort of civil rights and human rights position and say these people have
just
right
the approach, the connection to that channel is like a bit, you know, I mean, it keeps you away from it. Even though you try, you know, I mean, people just don't want to understand.
If I can just add, we try to be a little bit too pushy in Kosovo. We try to think that we haven't made progress, but seriously, it took so many years in Sweden and the US and everywhere else to reach the point of where they are. And they're still facing discrimination. Much more gay bashing happens in Norway than it happens in Kosovo.
In Texas.
In Texas than it happens in Kosovo. But I just wanted to add one more thing, which is the coming out process is not easy. It's not easy because first of all you have to accept yourself, which means like you go through the process of like what's wrong. And then you meet some people, and then you meet some other people, and then you meet some other people. And it's very important for people to have this circle of friends who are gonna support them.
Well, thanks
but trust me, if that circle of friends is composed only by people who have the same sexual orientation like me, I just like diversity, full stop. I don't like it. I mean, really? Does that mean that I have to hang out only with those people? Like I'm blonde, so I have to hang out with blondes, or I have short hairs and have to hang out with... That's the part. And so many people, like you mentioned the guy, there are cases in Kosovo that are living double life like that. And those cases... Yeah, but here in Kosovo are even more, because you can even say like a certain generation of the community that we know is all married, like a certain age. And because they lived in a place where it was...
They had to get married.
They had to get married.
Their parents married them as well.
They married, yeah, exactly. But this is another time when I say that Kosovo is moving a bit. Because now I see less and less tendencies of the community. I see more tendencies of finding ways to escape that without coming out, but escaping it, like finding different ways of escaping that marriage than what back then. So this is another good part, I suppose.
Yeah, nobody actually answered Todd's question about being a wife of a gay person.
Imagine if my wife
Or
was
bisexual
but that was straight up my
you're the husband and the wife says actually.
I could answer, but I would just like to...
Can you tell us where you're from?
I'm from...
Hannah, come on.
From Montenegro and Kosovo, I'm a combination.
Good.
And I've been traveling, I've seen gay people, and I've been in gay clubs with girls and boys in it. What I want to say first is what Kosovo has to overcome first. Because there are families that, parents that don't want to even hear that their girl has a boyfriend. Now this is something that I think should come first, overcome, and then go to gay and lesbian. It is a bad truth, but I think that's the first step, and then they would start thinking about their girls having girlfriends and boys having boyfriends. You know, maybe this is the...
I don't have time to wait for that, because I am gonna do it my way.
That's one of the big reasons. That's the conservatism in Kosovo, that they don't want to first hear that their girl has a boyfriend. Oh my God, I can tell my father or mother that I have a boyfriend. And plus, can you imagine the girl having a girlfriend? That's even worse.
Okay, but let me put it like this. Okay, my approach is slightly different. My approach is slightly different, which is if my parents are very old, quite old, and very patriarchal, and they want to lie to themselves thinking that I'm going to get married and have lots of kids, who am I to destroy their dreams? Let them dream. I'm living my life. You get my point? So the thing is like, to the certain point of how much this patriarchal society is reaching you as an individual. And I'm trying to reach individuals, not the whole society, because I believe that society will change through individuals. So what I'm trying to say is like, if there are, because now in Kosovo, before the war it was even much more harder. You could never see two men. If you would see the girl changing boyfriend in a month twice, no, big deal. So even that, how much you're making it to reach to you as a person, because only individuals can make changes.
Yes.
We cannot expect our generation, old generation, to accept all these changes that we're going through in Kosovo. They used to live to a different life, and we cannot even blame them for not accepting us or not respecting us. What I want from them is not to disturb us.
Good.
Full
And
stop.
one final comment?
The final.
No, there's another one.
Okay, you mentioned about the parents.
First,
Arben.
Okay, cool.
Yes, two more final.
Alright, so I joined a little late. I'm sorry if you told this out, but just wanted to suggest / ask, you know. Have you, now, obviously, time in Kosovo has come for the society to polarize. You know, so far we have been united in one thing, whatever that is, but we need to polarize, just like Sven was saying. So, but now, coming out public, it's not really, I don't think it's really a good idea. It's still, I don't think it's a good idea, but have you ever tried like going to TVs and making a deal with them showing gay movies? And exposing the theme or the topic in a quite different way.
There are plenty of gay movies shown in TVs.
I mean, yes, but even in more and more, so that you can. Have you ever tried maybe translating books, since there is a lack of information, obviously, or trying to reach in a rather different way.
very good.
Can I just add to that? There's a theory in media that says there's no such thing as a hypodermic needle. So what you show on TV does not mean that people take that, what you show. So people actually have choice. So it doesn't matter if you show it, they're going to choose to watch, you know, whether they choose to watch Will and Grace. That's been going on, you know, we all know Will and Grace is on forever now. Or, you know, something else. It's not really possible to do it in that way, if you know what I mean. Yes, it's good and great, but people will choose to ignore it and then switch to something that's not like that. They'll say, turn off the TV, what are you watching?
Yeah, and as long as they speak English, that's fine with them.
What we need right now is straight people, you know, really talking to their families and to their friends, you know, about gay things. That's what we need.
You can go and buy off the TV to show.
Oh no, but I wanted to say that there were
Mita has a reply, please.
No, I mean, it was actually a reply to what Myrvete said earlier about there being more gay bashing in Norway than there is in Kosovo.
I just kept it as an example.
Okay, well, I mean, anywhere, okay, let's just say anywhere in the Western world, anywhere in the Western, no, not just, doesn't have to be any of that, just anywhere in the Western world being more gay bashing than there is here. Maybe if you look at the numbers, sure, because there's more people over there that are openly gay than there are here. So that's where the problem is. It's not that we here are by any way accepting of gay people. It's just that there's nobody who's openly gay. I mean, not nobody. There's a very small amount of people who are willing to be openly gay because of all the problems that they face. And you were talking earlier about the laws being good. It does not matter at all how good your law is if nobody wants to implement it. If you call a policeman and tell them that you're beaten up because you're a gay or a lesbian, and they tell you, oh, that's a good thing, I would have actually killed you, it doesn't matter that the law protects you if the policemen don't want to protect you.
Yeah, but the truth is that the practice is different.
Well, yeah,
because
exactly,
when the law was there, and when the first gay bashing happened, because I have to tell these histories, maybe to keep on understanding why I say that the laws are good. When the law was there, and the first gay bashing, one of the gay bashing that happened, when the people called, that was exactly what police said. They wanted to pick them up, but they were making very, very bad judgments. I'm not going to say all the words that they used. About like, if I was here to watch, and they've sent them to the hospital because they were very severely damaged. They've sent them to hospital saying, we brought you some faggots. So treat them not so good.
And the doctor said,
But-
I don't want any HIV here. So it
No,
doesn't
no,
matter
no,
that
the doctor, it was okay. I have to be fair, the doctor, that specific doctor was okay. So I'm not saying all the doctors, but the thing is that we reacted towards that. And 4 police officers were dismissed from their job because of that. First. Second, the police unit created a special unit for only gay bashing. And that exists, and the community knew about it. But if they are being beaten up, and they're not responding, they're not reporting, what can I do?
You know, I'm not saying that you can do anything, but the way you're presenting it at first was almost as if we achieved the laws, I lost my motivation, and we gave up, because that was enough.
But we
Now
did
have
achieve the laws, and the
and
gay
that's a good
bashing
thing,
were
but
happening,
there's
and they
so
were not
much more
using the
that needs to
laws.
be achieved.
That's why the
Yes,
loss of
absolutely.
motivation.
Can I just
please.
add to this?
Yeah.
To connect Mita's argument. Well, what happened when in 2011, 2 months ago, there was a gay person who published on Gay Romeo that there's a gay bar, and now this person is not anymore in Kosovo, and this bar is closed.
And the laws are still there.
Really? Yes, it really was in the media everywhere. People said,
Do you know the person?
You might
Are you sure of this case?
Yes, I do know the person. The person is not in Kosovo
Okay.
anymore.
First,
And there were fans from Kisat who went to this bar, and now this bar is not open anymore. And it's in Pristina. It's in the center of Pristina.
I know where the bar is.
Well, we talk about gay issues, we have to always remember that we are not perfect. We don't do everything perfect, you know. We have we do mistakes, you know, and people behave sometimes really bad in public when they shouldn't. And that's how sometimes they get beaten up, you know. I mean, even straight people get beaten up, you know, but there's a reason behind it, why they get beaten up. And how they should represent themselves to the police, for what reason they got beaten up. If they were doing any gay activities or something like that, that's fine. Same with the opening of the bar, Pure, whatever that was. The community itself was not even informed about that opening of the bar. There were a few individuals that wanted to do something, but you cannot do something if you're not completely sure that that thing will function.